Hi, I'm gonna tell you how did I restore completely a Fender Rhodes from 1973. Now, the Fender Rhodes was an electric piano very popular in the rock and pop music from the 60s and 70s until today. And many good players used it like Elton John, Stevie Wonder, or Ray Charles.
What you say?
I was saying that the Fender Rhodes is, well, it doesn't matter. I found one and I bought it for a few bucks and it looks like this.
What?
Yeah, I know. Looks like crap. I know, but don't worry. It's gonna be okay. I promise. Like the Yamaha CP80 or the Wurlitzer, these pianos are in demand currently, and many piano players would love to have one in good shape. So I decided to do all this: mechanics, sounds, and aesthetics. We will start with the mechanics. First thing we do is to try out. The first thing we notice with the mechanics of a Fender Rhodes with so many time without any maintenance at all, it's that the touch is sluggish, some of the keys are sticky or hard, and it's also noisy as hell. Many Rhodes are noisy, I can tell you that. So we will disassemble it completely. Now you can figure out with the service manual how to do that, and so you will understand how it works if you're not familiar with it. There you see that all my keys are completely unbalanced. We will fix that later by using these shims that I'm removing here. They are made of paper or cardboard and we will work with them later. This is how it looks after disassembling it, uh, all but the harp. And one of the things I did first was to clean it up. This piano was completely dusty and I found surprises inside it, like cigarette stubs, beer bottle caps, you name it. It was a mess. Now these are the damper felts. They are new because I replaced them, but it was far from being enough. The real secret of the dampers is in the tension. If you got really good and new damper felts and you apply the right tension on damper, they will improve their performance and you will avoid double strikes and any malfunction on it. You can learn about this in the service manual too. When I fixed this, it was like night and day, but it wasn't good enough. So the real problem with this piano was in these little red pieces here. They are called the bumpers. You put them in the pedestal of every key. Many rows from the 80s got them right, but all of the first model from the beginning of the 60s and so on are missing. And this piece is crucial, so I'm going to install it in my keys. First thing I did is to remove all the old red felt with it's much older than I am, with some steam or any other method you prefer. Then I sanded it a little bit to remove all the rest of the felt and the old glue that it got. Now we're ready to install the bumpers in the keys. It is very important to place it correctly. Simply put the bumper in the pedestal of the key while it's fully pressed and place it in a way that it's in touch with the hammer but not lifting it, just in touch like this. Then you mark with a pencil the first key on the piano and in the last key of the piano. This will allow you to mark all of the keys and so you will have a good reference on where to place all of the other bumpers. Then you just glue it with some cyanocrylate one by one. And there you go. After that, you just need to put the new felt on the key, which is very easy as it has already glue on it. Be careful of avoiding the ramp effect because you don't want a ramp, you want a bumper. So make sure you adjust it correctly with a piece of plastic or something similar, like that. And this is the way it should be. Now the physics of the key is much better than it was. So now you just put some music, be patient, and have fun repeating the same thing for 72 or more times. Gotta be a little patient. There you go. And that's what I'm talking about. This is really good, and keyboard action now reminds us to the upright pianos that piano players know the most and have a similar behavior. You will see it's night and day. These are the key shims I told you about before. We will use them to balance the keyboard. You will need to put them the same amount of them in the front rail and in the back rail. And once you got it, you simply use a ruler, bigger than this one if possible, and check it out completely to see if there's any key that needs to add or remove any shims. It is actually quite simple, but it might take a while too. And this is all about the mechanics, so let's go with the sound now. So if you're not familiar with how it works, the sound of a Rhodes is created in the harp. When you press one key, the hammer will hit this metal rod called tine, and it will vibrate with the help of the tone bars. This vibration is catched by the pickups, and every key has its own pickup to do that. Here you can see a complete system of one key with the tine, the tone bar, the screws, the washers, springs, and grommets, which is used to fix it to the harp. In my piano, this is all rusty and dirty. You may not see it yet, but you will in a minute when I disassemble it. The screws are rusty, the grommets are destroyed, and the springs and washers are dirty and rusty as well. So I took 3 different cans and I put the metallic parts in them. Be sure to know where you put everything when disassembling, because all parts are different if they belong to bass, medium, or treble keys of the piano. Now you start to see some rust coming out from the wood. Now I will clean it up, and now I got my harp totally naked and ready. So this is the thing we will have to deal with now. All parts are rusty and dirty, and make no mistake here, these parts are essential for the good work of your Fender Rhodes, so my recommendation is not to overlook them. You can replace them or try to recover them as I did. First, I drowned the metallic parts in vinegar for 5 or 6 days, and I removed most of the rust, but with the screws this wasn't enough. So it is time to use more drastic methods. Now this special paint is supposed to be used over the rust directly, but I thought this will not do, and I cleaned every single part of it before applying the spray. Also, the time blocks were rusty in most of the keys, so I used a sander with a fine grain to remove it completely. This is not critical, not entirely necessary, but I wanted it to be perfect, so I did it. And finally, there's the harp. Like many other metallic parts, it was rusty, full of rust, and very ugly to use, so I decided to disassemble it completely and clean it up with a sander. And of course, the magic paint. There we go. Now we have all we need, clean and perfect, ready to be assembled again. This is also time taking because you will need to mount first every system for every single key. And this is only the beginning because after mounting you will need to adjust the escapement, the tone, the intonation and the voicing. So be patient again. Now the escapement is done by using this screw here. I saw some videos where they use a time block, so I will use the same. This way allows me to have a good reference in all the register from bass to treble, but this is no magic. Later you will see that individual adjustment will be necessary for some keys. And this other screw here allows you to adjust the tone. The tone depends on the position of the tine in front of the pickup, and by moving it you will be able to adjust it. Here you see how it moves. These other screws are used to adjust the voicing. We can say that the voicing is the individual volume for each key, and for that reason it needs to be balanced from the first key to the last one. Simply move the pickup like this, and this will increase or decrease the volume. You can use chromatisms like this, so you can identify those keys that need volume adjustment, like this E flat here that is slightly quieter than its neighbors. You simply move the pickup a little closer to the tine, and there you go. So this is pretty much all regarding the sound. Now it's time to put the piano beautiful and shiny, so the aesthetics. As you recall, this piano had many gigs, a lot of road, and it's pretty beaten, so I will need to practically start from scratch. First thing I do is to shoot many pictures of it all from many angles and different positions, because I will need to know where to put everything afterwards, and this will help me to do it correctly. As you can see, even the wood was broken at some parts, and I had to fix that as well. Once that you have everything clear, you can disassemble it and remove all the hardware and the Tolex. I also had to do a lot of cleaning here, as you can see. Anyway, once you have the box ready in perfect condition, it is time to choose the fabric. You can choose the same classic black, but I decided to use the Fender Tweed because it's original from the factory, and also because I like it. I think it can go very well with the instrument. You see, it's a good idea to preserve the old pieces of Tolex so you can cut the new patterns with it. As you can see here, first of all, I'm not cutting yet, but just marking. I will cut later. And these are the glues that I've used, several types of them, but the best one for me was this one here. It worked perfectly with the Tolex, and also the spray was very helpful on the parts that are difficult to reach. There's a brush too, but I didn't use it. I recommend not using a brush since this glue has a jelly texture, as you can see here, and the brush doesn't work very well. Instead, I recommend using a simple spreader. It's much easier and faster, and you will waste much less glue using it. You probably know how contact glue works. Just apply it in both parts, wait a few minutes, and put them together with some pressure. It is important that the Tolex stays tight and tense when doing this part. And I'm not gonna lie you here, corners were hell, but if you go carefully like this and not cutting until you're sure, everything should be fine. Just fold like this and cut only when you are sure about what you are doing. These corners are easy though because they go under the metal corners, but the true challenge is on the other ones. You will see in a minute. Yeah, you gotta be especially careful on these ones here. Yeah, this is the one. Also, one thing that I did is to sand a little bit the edge of the box. This will eliminate the sharpness and the Tolex will suffer less. Would be nice to do this. Now it is time to put the large part of the Tolex. I did this side after side so the fabric is always tight and tense. You can see I also used a bigger spreader than that was very useful for the large part of the piano. So you need to be sure to spread it well so you don't miss any part of it. Don't left any inch without glue. And there is no second chance here, so try to do it right in the first place. I used also a straight piece of wood just to avoid bubbles and wrinkles in the Tolex. The hardware parts were easy, since you have the holes already done from the previous parts, the previous installation. You just need to put it right in the same place, so this part is really piece of cake. You got the holders, there's 4 of them in a Rhodes piano, and there are the leg flanges here. There's 4 of them too. Now you need to install the corners. It's also very easy. You just need to place it, mark it with a pencil, make a small drill and screw it. There's 8 of them in the whole piano. Very easy. Now the latches were a bit more delicate because you need to be sure that they are not either too tight or too loosened so they can work properly and close the piano well. Now you place the logo in the right place and then you're done. And this is it. Now I will show you a couple of examples of how this piano works actually, and I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please don't hesitate to share it with your friends and piano players, mates, etc. And don't hesitate to contact me either with any questions or queries or whatever. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.